All right, and with us right now, we've got Adam Robinson. Adam, you're the co-founder and CEO of Get Emails. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
So Adam, I guess probably the best place to start would be just give us an overview of what Get Emails is. And by the way, marketers, get ready to hit up your browser because you're going to want to check this out.
Get Emails is a completely new technology. It allows you to put code on your website, and we can identify up to 35% of anonymous visitors to your website. So people that haven't logged in, they haven't filled out a form, we can identify up to 35% of them and then connect them to a database of third-party opt-ins and customer records that we've accumulated over years and years. And we can give you customer records, email, first name, last name, and postal address of people that are not yet on your email list. And we can tell you what landing page they were on. It's CAN-SPAM compliant in the US, 100% legal. And this is getemails.com.
Wow. So can you explain the technology just a little bit more and as well, like again, as a marketer, just making sure that it's compliant, we're not going to get in trouble. But so someone say was on our purchase or product page or on our checkout page, I mean, it would be really nice to know who that person is. And so there's a database then that I'll let you explain that.
Sure. Basically, there's two sides to the technology. One is the identification piece. So the identification piece uses cookies and cross-device ID. And basically, there's a way that advertising networks are set up to where they can cookie you on a million different websites in a million different ways, and that's just out there happening on the internet. The other side is we have a partner database of a huge amount of third-party opt-ins. And basically what these websites are, and we've all seen them, they're not really businesses. They're kind of like lead gen websites like lowermybills.com, or maybe you fill it out for a credit card or a mortgage refi or something like that. Those websites exist to sell your data any way they possibly can. Yeah. So we can match an encoded email address to an encoded address that has been basically accumulated over the last several years. And voila, if they match up, we have a customer record. And in the US, unbeknownst to a lot of people, the CAN-SPAM law is actually opt-out rather than opt-in. And we can link to a bunch of legal documentation from our lawyers in the footer if you want to have more detail about that. So it's totally CAN-SPAM compliant in the US. We only have US addresses, so it doesn't have anything to do with GDPR even. And it's a great technology.
So what's really cool is that you can actually go to getemails.com and you can actually get 25 credits free just to try it out. So I guess my recommendation would be, at the very least, put the script on your checkout page. Those are some high value people that would be great to find out, whoa, hey, who was on my checkout page? And then when you identify that, what happens next? Where do I go? Where is that? How do I reach out to that person?
So yeah, we're in the process of building out integrations to every email service provider like MailChimp or Klaviyo or Robly or whoever you use for that. We have a Zapier integration that we just finished. So our application will sync the contacts to wherever you want them to go. We recommend that you email these people as soon as you possibly can. We give you data once a day at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We recommend you put them in an automation flow, and the second you get them, it just automatically starts sending out a welcome series. 1 email a day for 2 or 3 days is fine. A lot of people, e-commerce specifically, are having success with the same welcome series they use for their opt-in email subscribers. And it's just, a little bit about the brand story and maybe a coupon and then a couple more emails with content value or whatever. And then after the welcome series happens, they add them to their normal email program. And the important thing to keep in mind is this is moving email marketing up the funnel. Yeah. Email marketing is known as very high intent. It's someone who filled out a form, they gave you their information, or they bought something from you. This is a totally different deal. It's somebody who showed up to your site, didn't give you anything, and then bounced. So these records are going to take time to warm up to your brand. It's not going to be as quick as traditional email marketing, but it's still, the open rates are similar, if not the same, and it works.
what should you say in terms of best practices in that first email? If they like, whoa, like if someone says, wait a minute, I didn't give you my email address.
Right.
Like, should you address that?
So I think a good proxy for people thinking I didn't give you my email address is the level of spam complaints.
Yeah.
And we haven't had any customers that have had spam complaint problems who have
great.
immediately emailed. We've had people who've waited 2 weeks, sent to a whole list, and then they've had some spam complaints. Because my view is there's a couple things going on. One, somebody bounced off of your site. A lot of times they may not even have known who you are. So if you send them an email the next day explaining who you are, and they can sort of like think that they were on your site yesterday, maybe I signed up for a form, maybe I didn't. Even if I didn't, it's pretty cool that these guys got my email address. Then it just hasn't yielded a lot of complaints. As far as what goes into the first email, I do think a lot of the problem is people get to your site through search. They don't know about you. They don't know about your brand. They bounce from your site. They have no idea who you are. I think a major problem that first email can solve is just explaining who you are, how you're different, and just giving them a small financial incentive to just go back to your site in the first place. And that's really the purpose of retargeting, right? It's to get people back to your website more than anything else, and just get them familiar with navigating your site, looking at your brand, and feeling what it's like to do business with you.
So I would imagine a good best practice would be then if they do sign up, then you'd probably want to intervene in that automation with Zapier or whatever and say, hold up, don't go ahead and remove them from that welcome series because now they're a client. So that would be a different type of communication.
Exactly. I mean, the sky is the limit with how sophisticated you can get. And we tell you what landing page that they were on, so you can get as sophisticated as setting up automations for, let's say you sell 3 different products. You could set up 3 different products or 3 different automations for these 3 different product pages that these people could have been on. You can even do triggered direct mail. If you have a super, super high intent page that you're comfortable spending, a couple dollars per contact to get something out, you can hook up to API driven triggered postcards and hit somebody with a postcard in addition to email. So you have this like omnichannel thing going on that gives you just this like, that's one of my favorite opportunities in all this, triggered postcards. We haven't set them up for Get Emails yet, but I'm going to.
So Get Emails recently launched, and of course, Adam, you're the co-founder and CEO of Robly as well. And so what's involved for a founder at your level? Like, you've already been through this process. Obviously you have a long history working in the financial, I guess the kind of the financial realm. But what do you spend your time doing to launch and get awareness for a new startup? Being that you already have a decent list through Robly, I think I saw you like working with like G2. Where else do you want to get listed as a SaaS product like this?
So that's a really good question. I don't think we're doing the best job at it right now. So our first of all, the Robly avatar of customer that we have is not the perfect avatar for Get Emails. There's 2 great avatars for Get Emails. One, it's magazines and publishers and online people who are selling the value, the size of their email list against content, against advertising. And this is like a no-brainer for them. We give you the cheapest and easiest way to get targeted email addresses. It's a home run. We have virtually none of those at Robly. E-commerce, MailChimp and Klaviyo own that market too. We have very few e-commerce companies at Robly also. So our existing list, it was helpful just to prove the concept out. We built a lightweight product inside of Robly to prove it out, but it's not the best buyer. So, I would say you wear 1,000 hats when you're at this point. For instance, right now, you like have all these grand plans. Like, I do a lot of the product design, and a designer and engineers build it, but like I'll like draw it out and stuff. You get this whole thing up, and then people sign up for it, and you're like, wow, this is not moving them through the funnel in any way whatsoever. So a lot of what I'm doing, and this is like day 9 of launch, is just we've had hundreds of people sign up. not enough people are putting the code on their site. So it's like, all right, if only 20% of people are putting the code on the site, what do I need to do to get that number to 75? So stuff like that. I hired a marketing guy to help with that awareness stuff, which you had mentioned. And he has been doing startup marketing consulting for the last 15 years. He's got this whole checklist of different directories you get in, Product Hunt, like all this kind of stuff. So we did all that. I'm working with him now because I think we really need to drill down on these two different avatars, the publisher avatar and the e-commerce avatar, and there's not, the broad stuff just isn't interesting to me because so many people are going to sign up for this, and like it's just so clear the value for these two people.
So much of this stuff you just can't. You can guess, and you just don't know until it's in the wild, and then the market will tell you. But it's a great offer in terms of like, I love that you're able to, because I'm sure that requires an investment to make that data available pro bono to somebody who is just getting started at getemails.com. So to get those 25 emails, that's an investment. So hopefully you would hope that offer would be good enough that people would take action on it. So now I guess it's just identifying friction points and
exactly. And this is the whole thing, right? It's like until people actually get in there and you can talk to them. Yes. Like my idea was, because we never did this with Robly, we used a lot of phones, and I was like, I'm going to make like a super low friction digital funnel for this thing. I'm only going to collect one field. And a week later, it's like, well, I really need to call all of these people just to like get inside of their head. Why'd you sign up? Where'd you see this? Like, why aren't you putting the code on the site? Like what, so now we're collecting a lot more data, and it's just, it's the process, right? That every single software company goes through. It's until you see people in there having problems using it, it's tough to know what to build.
So I'd imagine on this one, did you just, you were able to just bankroll it yourself, or like did not necessarily having to work with investors on any of this stuff? And
we were lucky enough to bootstrap Robly. My brother and I funded it, and then it's creating considerable cash right now. So we're just sort of, using that to fund, that was also an interesting debate. It was like, well, Getting Meals doesn't really have anything to do with Robly, but we didn't sell Robly, and like one of the partners isn't really active in it anymore, and my brother funded the original Robly concept, and this is evolving into something totally different. It was a debate. It's like, you can't really, we're funding it. We have expensive employees with Get Emails that I couldn't pay on my own, and these guys, like, it's using all of Robly's resources, so we just are, it's like a subsidiary that's exactly the same ownership structure.
How important is it, for example, I see that you've indexed both Robly and Get Emails in directories, but I don't know what you'd call them, like, again, G2, Crossdesk, those sorts of whatever. Product Hunt, that, like, how important is that?
I am a huge believer in customer reviews for software products. I just think, I don't have data around this, but I think they're more important than other business owners think that they are. We made a massive push with Robly to try to get a review out of every single customer that would possibly give us one. And I think it's benefited us tremendously. Like, we don't do any advertising with Robly just because I look at that market and I don't see how that product is differentiated, and it's kind of grown on its own and thrown off a bunch of cash anyway. And I was waiting for something like Get Emails to actually do advertising with, because I do see how Get Emails is very different than everything else in that market. So the only way we're getting growth is through these review sites. It's the way people learn about us. It's the way we come up in search. It's really easy to if you look at our G2 crowd page, there's like 900 5-star reviews on it or something. It's you feel comfortable signing up and using that product. It would be virtually impossible to get that many fake reviews on something, right?
Right. Well, very cool, Adam. I really appreciate this. And again, for anyone who's listening to this, it's very simple. You just go to getemails.com, and right on the front page there, you just enter in your business email or your work email, and you can get the code to collect 25 emails. My suggestion would be to test it out. If you're not using, well, of course, you've always got Zapier, but I mean, is there an interface where I can actually just look at the emails as they come in and just maybe put them in Gmail or something as well?
Yeah, what we do is after you put the code on your site, come 11 a.m. the next day, we send you an email and we say, you collected 19 emails last night. Click here to see them. And it's a surreal experience when you open that file for the first time and you see the names, postal addresses, email addresses, and the landing page that these people were on. I would highly recommend doing that, even if you don't end up buying it, just because it's such a wild thing. You really feel like, so yeah, you can get the, it's very, very easy to, hello?
Yeah, install. Yeah, so I just see you install the code snippet and then just one click integration with your email marketing platform. And then bam, you get new emails in your email marketing account every day. So it sounds like a winner, especially if it's free to try. So Adam Robinson, I apologize for the little internet blip there at the end. But again, you're the co-founder and CEO of Get Emails. Of course, you've got a history, co-founder and CEO of Robly as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. And if you want an offer code, type in 1543 to get 15% off your first 3 months from listening to this podcast.
So it's 15 FOR 3.
Yeah.
And that will give you one more time again?
That will give you 15% off your first 3 months.
Right on. Excellent. Adam coming bearing gifts as well. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thanks.